Hi, I'm Sophia. I've always been the type of person who believes in love at first sight. It sounds cheesy, I know. But when I met Adrian, it felt like everything clicked. We met one rainy afternoon at a coffee shop, and something about his smile just drew me in. He had this charm, gentle and warm, that made you feel comfortable right away. We started talking, and we seemed to have so much in common. Before long, we began dating. At first, everything seemed perfect. Adrian was kind, attentive, and always made me feel special. He would surprise me with little gifts, like flowers, or take me to our favorite spot by the lake. It was like living in a dream, and I couldn't help but imagine a future with him. He told me about his work, his childhood, and his favorite memories. But for some reason, he never mentioned anything about his past relationships or anything too personal. I didn't think much of it at the time. I believed that if there was something important, Adrian would share it with me when he was ready. I trusted him completely, and the more I got to know him, the more I liked him. It felt like we were building something real. However, one evening, everything changed. I was helping Adrian hang up his jacket after he came over for dinner. As I slipped my hand into the pocket to straighten out the fabric, my fingers brushed against something cold and metallic. It was a ring, a wedding ring. I froze, my heart suddenly racing. I pulled it out slowly and stared at it, confused. It was a simple silver band, nothing too flashy, but it looked like it had been worn for a long time. My mind raced with questions. Why did Adrian have a wedding ring? Was he married? Did he lie to me? Was I just another woman in his life? I tried to calm myself down. Maybe there was an explanation. Maybe it wasn't what it seemed. But as much as I tried to convince myself, I couldn't shake the growing feeling that something was wrong. I wasn't angry at Adrian yet, but I was definitely suspicious. Why hadn't he mentioned it? I didn't know what to do, so I decided to confront him. The next day, I asked Adrian about the ring. His face immediately changed when I mentioned it. He didn't deny it, but he didn't come forward with the truth either. There was a moment of awkward silence before he finally spoke. He told me that the ring wasn't from a past lover. In fact, it wasn't from any woman in his life at all. It was from his ex-wife. I was stunned. I hadn't expected that. Adrian wasn't just hiding a past relationship from me. He had been married before. I felt a mix of shock and confusion. I asked him to explain. Why hadn't he told me about his marriage? Why keep something so important from me? Adrian seemed to hesitate before answering. He told me that his marriage hadn't ended badly. In fact, his wife had passed away some years ago. The ring, he explained, was something he had kept as a way of honoring her memory. It wasn't a symbol of love that he was still holding on to. It was a part of his past that he wasn't ready to let go of. He said that he had kept the ring because it represented a part of his life that shaped who he was. But he had never thought it would be important for me to know. He feared that telling me about it would complicate things. I listened carefully, but inside, I felt a mixture of emotions. I was hurt, not because of what Adrian had done, but because of what he hadn't done. I couldn't understand why he hadn't been open with me from the beginning. Why keep something so significant hidden? It made me question how much I truly knew about Adrian, and it made me wonder if there were other secrets he had kept from me. After everything he had said, I was left to process it all. The wedding ring wasn't a symbol of ongoing love, but it was still a symbol of a past relationship that I knew nothing about. I wondered how I could ever move forward with him when I didn't even know what other parts of his life had been hidden from me. Was I being too sensitive? Or was it a sign that there was more to Adrian than I could see? The more I thought about it, the more I realized that trust is built on honesty. And if Adrian wasn't willing to be fully transparent with me, could I really trust him? I spent days turning the situation over in my mind, debating what to do. Should I walk away from him? Or should I accept that his past didn't define his future with me? It wasn't easy. On one hand, I wanted to forgive him. I could see the sincerity in his eyes, and I knew he wasn't hiding things to hurt me. But on the other hand, I couldn't shake the feeling that I deserved to be in a relationship where there were no secrets. I deserved to know the whole truth, not just the parts that were convenient to share. Eventually, I decided that I needed to give myself some space to think. I told Adrian that I needed time to process everything, and he understood. We took a break from seeing each other for a little while, and during that time, I realized that the decision was ultimately mine. I could either accept Adrian's past and move forward with him, or I could walk away and protect myself from future uncertainty. After much reflection, I chose to stay with Adrian. I realized that love isn't perfect, and relationships require understanding and compromise. I didn't want to let a simple misunderstanding destroy something that could be meaningful. I knew that as long as we continued to communicate honestly, we could build a future together. But it wasn't just about Adrian. It was also about me. I had to learn to trust myself, to believe in my own ability to make the right choices. I couldn't let doubt or fear control my decisions. Trust is not just about relying on the other person. It's also about having enough faith in yourself to make choices that honor your own needs and values. As we continued our relationship, I knew that the journey wouldn't always be easy. But I also knew that love requires patience, understanding, and sometimes a little bit of forgiveness. Adrian and I didn't have to be perfect, but we could be real with each other. And that, I realized, was enough. This story is a reminder that sometimes love isn't just about finding someone perfect, but about embracing the imperfections and working through them together. It's about trust, honesty, and the courage to face the truth, even when it's difficult.